Welcome to another installment of this live stream series where I've been asking critical questions that all CEOs and business leaders need to be asking themselves so that they can build integrity and resilience for their organizations and as well for themselves as leaders of those organizations. I'm your host, Sue Matheson. I am the CEO Catalyst, and I am also certified integrity game coach and mentor. The critical question that I'm asking in this particular session is whether you are embracing accountability as a brand differentiator. To help orient us as to where does this fit into the conversation, I'm going to go back to the 3 pillars of leadership. They include enrollment, motivation, and accountability. This question of, are you embracing accountability as a brand differentiator, in part lives here in this 3rd pillar. And under the banner of accountability, we have the integrity game framework, as well as a self-management. Now, it's over the past weeks, months now, that I've been working through the integrity game framework itself. It's here that we've started asking the question too of, what does integrity mean to you? And if I use the example of structural integrity, we expect a building to be able to withstand the pressures, to be able to do the job that it's been built for, and not suddenly fall over just because there's a big storm. So in this model that we've been working through over the past weeks, we've addressed the question of purpose, of gifts, potential, goals, strategies, resources, and tactics. And we've been sitting in this word and commitment space, asking, what is your relationship with your word? How do you manage expectations you set for self and others? And now with my question in this session of, are you embracing accountability as a brand differentiator? I'm actually integrating a couple of components between word and commitment, but also jumping back up to gifts in terms of what are your competitive advantages. So is your brand differentiating itself, or are you differentiating because your word and commitment is integrated as part of your brand? And how is that showing up? What is that looking like in your organization? Now, maybe your brand is hiding or deflecting when things go wrong. I hope not, because that's not really where you want to be. On the flip side, is your brand practicing integrity by acknowledging mistakes publicly, updating customers with clarity, and explaining how you're going to make things right when maybe things have gone a little awry or things haven't turned out as you intended them to be? There's some key questions that you can explore with your teams and in your organizations that can help to unpack this a little bit more. I'm going to share this with you just to help give you some insights that you might be able to take away and use in your own organization. So here, what explicit promises are you making to your customers, partners, and teams? One example of a question that you can explore further. Do your actions, systems, and communication deliver on these promises? So a reminder, what I'm doing is I'm linking the word and commitment point on the model back up as a competitive advantage, a brand differentiator for your organization, and pulling the two together. Another question that you might be able to ask and explore together with your teams is, when you do go off track, how are you restoring trust without making excuses? Sometimes it can be a little bit of a default behavior to make excuses. And then another question. How are you inviting your customers and staff to hold your organization accountable? That can be challenging and requires a level of willingness to be open. An example of an organization here in Australia who is known for their integrity is the Body Shop. Now, they were founded back in 1976 in Brighton, England, but they're a familiar store here in Australia. And there's quite a few things that they are known for in terms of integrity, and it's held them in good stead. They've been in business for 49 years as at the time of this recording. Now, some of the things that they are known for are that they were early pioneers in ethical sourcing, cruelty-free products, and environmental activism. And this was well before it became popular and mainstream. They've also been very transparent about their supply chain and sustainability goals. The Body Shop consistently advocate for human rights, often taking stands that they risk alienating profit-driven markets. But this is integrity in action. They embed their values in their product development, in their packaging, in their activism campaigns, as well as their internal culture. We need to mind the gap. Now, whilst the Body Shop is a great example of an organization who has practiced values, has maintained their values over an extended period of time, we need to be conscious that integrity gaps can show up when our marketing says one thing, but our service delivery says another. Or our leadership speaks about values, but the culture within the organization is actually tolerating quite the opposite. We need to mind the gap when teams are unclear on how they can personally deliver on the organizational brand promise. The bridge is to make the brand personal. To be able to empower individuals to be very clear on knowing this is how I can keep the promise. This is how I am the brand. So these thoughts very much integrate. This, what are we, 6th point on the model of wording commitment back up into competitive advantages. It also, by having this connection between those two in this conversation, it's a great example of how this framework helps to build that resilience, that strengthening for your organizations. And by not only answering the points and the questions against each point individually, but really start to appreciate and unpack how do they leverage off each other? How does an answer in one area help elevate another area and build that consistency? It's all of that together that is going to give you that strength, that backbone to your organization that's going to allow you to bend but not fall over, and to be able to adapt, change, reinvent as you need to be to navigate shifts in markets or unexpected environments that make it challenging to navigate a way forward. But you can do that because you've got the foundations there. And it's by doing the work of answering these questions. Now, as always, I welcome your comments. If you would like to know more, please feel free to reach out to me. My email is sue@suematheson.com.au. I would love to hear from you. And if you don't agree with me, again, feel free to make a comment. Provide your insights. But I'd also love to hear what's worked for you. What's empowered you to maintain your brand promise, to elevate your organization because you've been able to drive that consistency in the marketplace in terms of where your competitive advantages are, but you've delivered both as an organization on promises, but the individuals within your organization are able to deliver as well, because they understand clearly what the brand promise is, but they also understand the expectations within the organization. And there's an awareness that they fit, that you as a business owner, that you as a CEO understand the importance of making sure that they are integrated into your organization, that you have common purpose, you have shared goals. All of that empowers your people to be able to be consistent in their individual word and commitment. And it's important to provide a safe environment for them to be able to acknowledge if they've not been able to meet a target or they've overcommitted. Providing that for your organization starts with you. As CEO, as a business leader, it's about stepping back, being vulnerable, and as an example, being able to invite accountability. Just say to your staff, I welcome feedback if I fall short. That takes courage, a willingness to be vulnerable, a willingness to say, I'm not perfect. I am going to get it wrong. And if you can model that, then you're going to get that from your organizations as well. And you all grow and strengthen together. Would love your comments, love your feedback. I trust that you find these questions helpful. That I will just quickly go back and put them up again, that you can share and ask within your team. So we had, what explicit promises are you making? Do your actions, systems, and communications deliver on those promises? When you go off track, are you restoring trust without making excuses? And how? Are you inviting your customers and staff to hold your organization accountable? Trust you found this insightful, and I look forward to being with you again soon. And look forward to your comments, questions, and insights. Thank you.